You are listening to Offensive Lines with Marlon and Boyd. Small stakes NFL gambling for the average fan.
Welcome to Offensive Lines for U.S. Thanksgiving weekend. I'm Marlon.
I'm Boyd.
And we're on a night earlier than usual. We're going to talk about Thursday games. I'm not sure we're going to bet any, but yeah, and we don't get to bitch about the shitty quality of Thursday night football.
Well, I think we might have to make an extra bet this week. Just bet that maybe have to tease the three Thursday games just for so we got some action on it.
I'm not against that.
Watch football all day and have no money on it doesn't seem very sporting of us.
You may be onto something here. That's not such a bad idea. I was saying to a guy I work with today, though, that I used to look so forward to Thursday. It was football in the middle of the week, during the day. It was an event, and now it's just...
They killed it.
Yeah. I'm really sad in myself that I'm just, yeah, it's going to be fun. I'll get together with some people and watch some games, but it's not what it was.
No. And you know what? And I'll use baseball as an example. When I was a kid, the Saturday game was a big game because you didn't have a game on every week. Now, don't get me wrong, I like the access to the games we have now in the sports where there's multiple games. Like they're playing 160 games. You want to see more than a game a week. But in football, they only ever had 2 days of football, Saturday and Sunday, except for the Thanksgiving Thursday games. It was bigger than Monday Night Football. That one Thursday was special.
Yep.
And teams looked forward to it. Now it's just, we're playing in 4 days.
Yeah, we're playing in 4 days, and yeah, you get a decent audience for it, but these other crap Thursday games have killed the joy, which seems to be the NFL's general program.
Yes.
You know, throw out so much product that they're devaluing their own product, in my opinion. It's still seeing the ratings, but I can't believe that we're the only people who think that some things are losing a bit of their luster.
Well, it is. When you take, there's no must-watch games anymore. I remember in the 90s, and this might be my old age nostalgia kicking in, how you look at things back in your past and think they were better. But you had good teams in the NFC East, the AFC, or the NFC West, and there seemed to be you don't want to miss this game, at least one a week. I don't sense that anymore.
No, and seriously, we're pretty big fans of this. I mean, we wouldn't be doing this if we weren't.
No. And you know what? I've heard this from other people that, like radio hosts and that, when you start doing what we're doing, it kind of takes some of the edge off too. I'm reading so much football stuff during the week for the website and that I don't want to say it's overkill or that I don't enjoy it, because I do, but it's taking some of the edge off the Sundays for me. That's just me personally, because I'm looking at it. I know every storyline. I know all the stuff going in because I've read it 100 times looking for stories, and I don't know if that's ever gonna, if it's just because Tennessee's horrible this year and they're not really in it. But
yeah, well, it could just be age too. I mean, I don't live and die with the team like I used to, you know.
Yeah, but I did, Marlon. It's been like a year, 2 years, maybe max. Even last year, I was getting pissed off watching games. Now it doesn't even. I'm not getting that same buzz.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll have to think about that. We'll talk about that more in the future. So, anything else we wanted to get on before we get to the full slate of games?
Well, I just wanted to mention that I think, and the reports are, and we don't know if it's 100% accurate, I believe it's true, that Colin Kaepernick's going to start for the Niners after his performance on Monday night against the Bears. which I think is a smart move. It's going to give New Orleans fits on Sunday. And I think he's a better quarterback. He looked fantastic.
He did. He spread the ball around. I agree with you. I think it might be the right move as long as it doesn't split the locker room. Team unity is a fragile thing. And let's not forget, your guy had you in a winning, or the old guy had you in a winning position in the NFC Championship game. So it's not like Smith has been terrible.
Well, he's having his best year ever this year. He's third in completion percentage right now in the league. But you have to look at who gives you more of a better opportunity to win, and who can do more, who brings more things to the table. And it's Kaepernick. He's not a runner, which I liked. All the other times I'd seen him play, they just used him in the Wildcat. Here, he's a pocket passer. He wasn't looking to run, which I liked.
What really impressed me about him was how he hit virtually everyone who could catch a pass on that offense. Though I didn't watch the whole game. That was watching a snuff film.
But he had good long balls to Williams, intermediate to Vernon Davis. He just looked very calm and poised and
smart
everything
red
else.
zone decisions. I think it's probably the right decision, and I think it is the decision. Though, for all we know, too, Smith may be cleared to play by concussion. They could be using this as an opportunity to give him another week down, too.
And it could just be one of those things where you see a young quarterback come in and have a great game, and then next week against New Orleans he looks like crap, and you go back to Smith.
Yeah, which has happened to so many guys over the years I've watched football. Once they have a full game tape on them, suddenly they're not the saviors of the franchise anymore in the second game.
This is a big game for the Niners. They haven't locked up the West yet, by any means.
No, they've got Seattle's chasing them.
They got a 2-game lead on Seattle, but is Seattle really a threat? They're 5-0 at home and 1-4 on the road. Not really a threat.
Yeah. But, wow. They're good at times. But the one thing I wanted to bring up was, and I'll say this right, I'm happy that Ed Reed is playing against the Chargers, because much like last year, I want this to spiral into an absolute flaming wreck. I thought that would result in the firing of Norv and AJ last year. I was cruelly teased.
Yeah, but remember what happened last year when Baltimore went to San Diego? They laid an egg.
Oh, it's not going to be an easy game, honestly. It was a really physical game against the Steelers. We'll talk more about that in the game discussion. But what I want to really bring up here is Goodell came with a sledgehammer, an unprecedented sledgehammer, I think solely in reaction to the criticism he's taking now for the 4 years that the NFL covered up the concussion thing. And he's terrible.
No, I know, but how do you go from a suspension for a game for numerous hits to the head?
Over years, though.
No, but this is 3 times in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's going back to his second year in the league. But how do you go from we're suspending you a game to just a fine? It's because he's always wanted to be the cut and dried commissioner. Here's the rules, what we're going to do.
Well, he doesn't handle the appeal process.
No, but if you want to send a message, he does. He's Marlon. He's the judge, jury, executioner.
Not in the appeal. That's actually...
if he wanted it...
I think Art Shell might still be involved in the appeal process.
If he does, you don't think Goodell talks to him?
Oh, yeah, but...
beforehand? Like, if he wanted this to stick, it would have stuck.
Oh, so you're saying this was a trial balloon, like a warning to the chronic habitual offenders?
No, but why?
That he
why
is
are you
going to
reducing
do
it?
it?
But why are you reducing it?
Because it was without precedent and, as far as I could tell, without any real warning. That cumulative...
Yeah, but there was no warning for this whole thing. From the start of it. 3 concussions, 3 bad concussions in 1 week, and then all of a sudden they're worried about player safety. A couple of years ago. Or
this week. I mean, this seems like such a knee-jerk reaction after the concussions to Cutler,
but they've been
Smith, all of this. It's just a terrible knee-jerk reaction that was never
2 years
stood.
Ago. This started 2 years ago.
And there was a sudden spate of overreactive crap that never held up. And Goodell's just doing it again. There was a bad week for concussions. I'm not
arguing that he should have been suspended. I'm just saying, how can you say suspension and then just make it a fine? Because now you've just opened a whole other can of worms. Now, where you have to, in something like this, when you're doing it on judgment, you can't waver from that judgment. And that's what he's done.
That's my point about how terrible he is.
I know, but he's wavered. It's like when you're a parent and you let your kid get away with shit and then you decide to lay down the law and you wonder why they don't listen. Well, he laid down the law. And when's there going to be a big enough deterrent to stop?
Well, when they suspend games or suspend organizations for encouraging the practice, which sort of is what they did with the bounty, but that's still just a shit show.
Yes, but I just don't know where do you go from here now?
Well, I think, given the quick reversal, that what this was to establish that he could and will consider previous suspensions for helmet-to-helmet hits.
But we already knew they did that. With James Harrison got suspended last year for helmet-to-helmet hits.
Wasn't that repeated? Yeah.
This is the first time they've went back on it. That's what I don't understand. Now you've opened up the door for appeals and criticism now on this. You're better off being consistent being criticized than being wishy-washy and being criticized. He's in no-win situation.
Like
the old players are suing him, and the players today are saying, we don't care about concussions. Well, that's because they're not 45 and drinking through a straw and mumbling their words. So he's in a no-win right now in any call he makes on this stuff. He's in absolutely a no-win situation. He's going to get criticized one way or the other. He's either going to be seen too soft, and the retired players will use it against him, or the active players will say he's being too harsh, and he'll get criticism for that.
My opinion is that, no, he wanted a symbol after, 2 weeks ago was Concussion Sunday. He came with a knee-jerk, and even his own organization, the appeals process or whatever, is recognizing that his own inconsistency, his own inability to control this on a steady, even-handed keel is in question. I think it's a terrible PR move.
Or maybe Ed Reed gave word, or a lawyer sent word to the NFL office that they were going to sue if he was suspended. Could that be? Because everybody's
it's possible.
suing.
I mean, you've got to know that in the appeals process, pressure is coming.
Well, Jonathan Vilma sued. He's playing.
Yeah.
Could Ed Reed have been looking at that and going, Vilma did worse than I did, and he's playing?
Well, I don't want Ed Reed to concuss anybody, but I wouldn't mind if he took a couple of pick sixes to the house. The last thing I want to see is Baltimore come in there and lose, so I get to see Norv Turner smile and dance around because, once again, he wasn't fired.
Well, do you think Phillip Rivers will stay on the field the whole game this time?
Maybe. I'm at one point Sunday, I was actually chanting Whitehurst. I didn't really mean it, but... All right. I mean, it doesn't help that he's got no O-line, but that's Smith's too. I think we should get to the games here.
Yeah, we've got a full slate of them.
The early game tomorrow, Houston is laying 4 going into Detroit. Winless on Thanksgiving since 97.
I think they carry that streak forward.
Yeah, though the 4's enticing. I certainly don't really want to bet this.
No, this is a 3-game teaser Thursday.
Yeah. And yeah, if we get Houston +2, I can live with that. The thing is, to actually bolster the argument that I'm a little worried about Houston, was they played 5 quarters on Sunday, are traveling from the southeast to the heartland in Detroit on the short week. You know, that's...
Well, we can go the other way, too. I've got no problem making Detroit +10.
6-1.
I got no problem with that.
Which way do you prefer? I do think Houston's going to win the game.
Well, yeah, I think Houston's going to win the game.
So if we can get them at +2,
which
I
is
think
what
that
it would be.
might be the prudent.
And even on a short week, Detroit played a tough game against Green Bay, too, 4 days ago. And Detroit's only weapon is Calvin Johnson. And
Lashore
Houston,
a little bit, but
Houston will be able. They have a really good pass rush. I think that Green Bay game turns out different if Clay Matthews is playing, rushing the quarterback.
yeah,
Would have made a little difference.
Is reeling right now, and their tackle is out as well. I'm trying to remember his name.
And they
Started
also
like 168 games. He's gone.
Detroit also sent home Titus Young, who was the other receiver they had.
Yeah.
For disciplinary reasons. So that team's a mess. That team is an absolute mess.
It is, but we can't pick Detroit to save our fucking lives.
Yeah, but Houston's the top team in the AFC. We get them at +2. You can't.
Little advice: whichever way we go in the podcast, go the other way. That's just us in Detroit.
No, we're going to pick Detroit right this week. We're taking Houston +2.
Yeah, I think that's the more prudent way to go. And Detroit's
Houston,
secondary, I mean, you saw what Andre Johnson can do against a bad secondary. Yeah, he's not having his greatest year, but when the secondary against him is atrocious, he's still really good.
And there's one thing. Defense travels. If you have a good defense, you got a shot in every game. And I think Arian Foster will be able to run enough. And they will do that play. You know what? I'm not a defensive coordinator. But at some point, Houston runs that play action to Foster and goes deep, and it's wide open in every game. That highlight is in every package they've played this year.
Yeah, and they're
Play
starting
action,
to see some
draw.
production from the guys behind Johnson, too. Yeah, I like Houston +2 in this game on our 3-team turkey teaser special.
Yeah, our quadruple T, 3-team Tease Thursday.
All right.
We could make it 5. 3-team Tease Turkey Thursday.
Oh.
How's that?
Yeah. Well, we'll work out the title. Our next game is Washington +3 at Dallas, and we are making this Washington +9. That's all there is to it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I want to make it Dallas +3.
Are you nuts?
No.
Why on earth would you... Oh, so you were just being facetious.
No?
You like Dallas in this game?
Yeah, I do. Rookie quarterback.
Dallas struggled with the Eagles, who, if the Lions are a disaster, the Eagles are even worse. They could not get pressure against one of the worst O-lines in the league in Philadelphia.
Yeah, struggled with...
Rob Ryan, he looks like a tough guy, but he's got one of the most talented defenses out there, and they still suck.
Yeah, but I see Dallas winning this game like they did the last week. Win it late. Oh, then I guess Washington covers too, so I'm making no argument.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see Dallas winning by 9. It would be.
Okay, I'm with you.
Tease it up. I mean,
because I saw Dallas winning it close, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm
way more comfortable with Washington in
with
this
9
situation.
points. Yeah, it's +9. I see it within a touchdown, probably a field goal late for Dallas, but it doesn't matter. So pool, I'm going Dallas to win.
See,
I got to take him. I got to take him to cover
Washington
too.
Both ways.
I got to take him to cover too. Because it's going to be a push. If I go one way or the other, if I think it's within if I think it's going to be a field goal game, it's a push. So it doesn't matter who I take.
Fair enough. I screwed up our 3-team teaser last week with my insistence on Indy, but yeah.
We got lucky on the other ones anyway. It didn't Dallas coming back to win and.
Oh, the Tampa Bay was one of my favorite covers of all time. Though that was.
That was for a straight
win, yeah.
But the other game was Green Bay, and they kicked a field goal with, 40 seconds left or something? Wasn't that the other one we teased down?
No. It was Dallas, New England, and
I can't. I'm drawing a blank. I thought it was Green Bay.
Oh, it was Cincy.
Oh, no. We took Cincy straight up.
Yeah,
we took Cincy and Denver straight up.
Oh, we're sounding like fools here. I'll have to cut this out.
No. You're fools. No use cutting it out.
Yeah, that's true.
And I just looked at it no more than half an hour ago before we started just to refresh my memory. And if anybody should feel ridiculous, it's me.
Was it Houston in and of itself?
We had Dallas and Washington.
Oh, okay. Yeah, in Washington we didn't need the help.
+2. But we got a crappy cover in Dallas anyway, so.
Oh, yeah. You need some luck to win. The final game, the late game, is New England laying 7.5, going to the Jets.
Oh, I love this at New England 1.5.
Yeah.
Oh, now don't tell me you want to go Jets +13.5.
No, I don't. Okay. I mean, I wasn't anticipating the tease. Yeah, I like this a lot. The Jets. I was reading an article tonight on Pro Football Talk, and I'm starting to feel sympathy for Rex Ryan again. It's not a talented team, and that's not entirely his fault.
He has, from Hard Knocks, he has say with talent. Now, granted, he didn't want Tebow. Nobody wants Tebow. But he has say in talent on who they're signing.
That's true.
They cut Woodhead, who they could use.
To keep John Connor because Ryan gave him the nickname the Terminator. I honestly think that was the deciding factor in that decision. It was Woodhead or Connor, and Ryan loved the fact that he'd given him the Terminator nickname.
Yeah, and he blew a couple of guys up, made a couple of special teams plays. And you can't absolve him from all of that blame.
I don't absolve him, but I still think I might not mind him as a coach on my team.
No, but
if that team had any talent.
No, but he festers shit. Who do you think named Santonio Holmes a captain?
Yeah.
Rex Ryan. He's not absolved from blame here. The
locker
talented.
room is a fucking disaster there.
That's what the coaches do. That's their domain, is keeping that locker room tight. And he did the first 2 years when he had the right type of guys there. But when you can't adapt to the talent you have there, he has one coaching style. And it's not working with the group of guys they have there right now. Sanchez has been yanked around all the time. He's just criticism. And he's never really had top flight offensive talent around him. How do we know what he can do? Who's the receivers been since?
Yeah, I think we've got a pretty strong suspicion what he can do, but you're right. It's a bit of an unfair analysis with that. With that gang of supporting cast. And that O-line has been a mess for years.
They've never had a top-flight running back. The guys have done well in games in that system. They've never had a star running back behind them. They've never had an offensive line that was elite. Rex Ryan's a defensive coach. They won the first 2 years on defense, and when the defense faltered, they had nothing behind it.
Yeah, and when the defense injured, they literally have nothing behind it. It's a team with some of the worst depth out there.
And if Tom Brady doesn't throw 4 picks tomorrow, this game's going to be a blowout. Hernandez is back.
Maybe. He still is questionable, but
he's playing tomorrow. They have Hernandez back. They have a running game. Welker's.
I think it's the running game. That's why I like it more teased to 1.5 than at 7.5.
Okay, so our first bet of the week, our Thursday turkey 3-team tease.
Oh, you got to get Thanksgiving in there.
Oh, thanks. It's a 6T.
Yeah.
It's a sextuplet tease. So we have Houston at Detroit. We've teased Houston 6 points to make Houston a 2-point underdog. We have Washington at Dallas. We teased that 6 points. We have Washington +9. We teased New England at the New York Jets. We have New England teased down from -7.5 to -1.5. And our $10 bet will pay $26. Booked.
Could be worse. I was thinking maybe around 23. But
So there we go. We got action tomorrow.
Okay.
So now the games will actually mean something, and I'll have to pay attention.
Fair enough.
Well, no, the game I really want to watch tomorrow is Washington-Dallas, because I haven't laid my eyes on RG3 yet.
Houston and Detroit actually intrigues me as well, but...
Well, it's a good way to start. The Dallas game always seemed a little bigger to me, because they were good all the time.
Yeah. Well, not all the time, I mean. Here's the weird thing, too. Let's just bring up that Washington went 15-1 in 1990. Dallas went 1-15. Guess where those ones came from? The Thanksgiving game. Or it wasn't the Thanksgiving game, but it was.
But it was against Washington.
Yeah.
And here's another interesting stat that I didn't throw out in that Dallas-Washington discussion. Romo's 5-0 on Thanksgiving.
Okay. Who knows?
Just a trend. And we were wrong on the Andy Reid trend this year, so who knows?
Yeah, it's the trend-breaking year. All right, moving to Sunday. Our first game is Atlanta is laying 2 going to Tampa Bay. We've been riding those Bucks, but I'm not stepping off. I just want to stay away from this game.
Yes. Although I think in the pool I might be going Tampa Bay.
I can't get Atlanta. Atlanta's cost me a lot of money this year, put it that way. I cannot pick them. I was against them because I didn't think they were nearly as good as they thought they were for the longest time. And then when I finally, faced with their numbers, thought, okay, I got to start siding with them, they fucking shit in my face.
They're not. We weren't wrong. They haven't convincingly beat a team that has top caliber talent. Like, who have they beat? What's their marquee win? See, you can't name it.
No, I certainly can't, because they had the chance to put a lot of these doubts to rest.
Struggled with Carolina
with New Orleans, and absolutely looked terrible.
Struggled with Carolina at home, got lucky to win that game. Struggled with Oakland at home, lucky to win that game.
And last week, Matty Ice, became the first quarterback to throw 5 picks and no TDs and win the game in the modern era of the NFL.
Yep.
Wow.
So, I like Tampa in this game. And
I'm probably going to do that just because I like Tampa. They're fun to watch. They're exciting, though they made it a little too exciting last week for our win on them. But yeah, I can't throw my money at you this week, Tampa. It's more because I can't seem to figure out what Atlanta team is there.
Well, why don't they run the ball anymore?
Atlanta?
Yeah.
Well, Turner's pretty much done. But yeah, I still run it on occasion. Well, I mean, this could be back to your epic rant about trying to make quarterbacks feel good about themselves.
But why don't they run? Tampa Bay mixes it up with Martin, and there's guys wide open. Indy's running the ball now. Like, Houston, best team in the league. Or in the AFC anyway. They might be the best team in the league right now. Outside of I wish San Francisco had somebody proven at quarterback. Or more elite. Not that I don't think Kaepernick or Smith could do it. It's just, you wish you had not even a Tom Brady.
Well, here's the thing about the Niners. I agree. I think they're probably, if I had to choose one team, I think they're probably the best team in the league right now. But I can't figure out why they have games like they did against the Jets and the Rams. I can't fit that into my pattern.
Yeah, they killed the Jets, struggled with the Rams.
No, didn't the Jets?
No, they shut the Jets out. They lost the game the week before to St. Louis. Or not St. Louis. Who'd they lose to? No, they struggled with Seattle or something, and then...
No, they've had 2 blowout losses this year.
Yeah, they lost. They lost the week before they beat the Rams, or before they beat the Jets. They got beat and looked
right. Oh yeah, they put up. Yeah, okay.
And then they killed the Jets. So
was that Seattle?
No, they beat Seattle at home.
Okay.
We're having a bad day for memory.
Yeah, I know. Just a terrible day for memory. Apologies to all.
But yeah, they played really bad the week before that Jets game, and then they beat them 34-0. So
those aberrations make me nervous, but I still think I would pick them as the best team in the league right now.
Yeah, and Houston's a pretty close second in my mind, even though and we talked about it last week, it could be a Milton Berle game for them. To quote,
what?
Just pull out enough to win.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I do recall that now. I think my brain censored it.
That's one of the best lines ever.
It's a good one.
That Simmons came up with. And I'm not meaning to steal it. It's that good. It needs to be repeated.
Yeah. So the next game, Buffalo at Indy. You probably want to stay away from this.
And I'm guessing
Buffalo is 3.5-point dogs. I guess that's kind of an important number.
I'm guessing you're leaning Buffalo.
I kind of am.
I don't mind it. My only reservation is Indy's a totally different team at home. Totally.
That's true. Buffalo has no defense to speak of.
Well, either does Indy's pass defense is awful. And that's Buffalo's strength. But
I don't think Luck is going to panic or overreact to the atrocious day he had in New England.
No.
I think he'll swing back. He's one of those guys. I don't think the swings are going to be very huge for him. He's too much of a professional already.
Yeah. They're just a different team. They beat Green Bay at home. If they go to Green Bay and play, I bet you they get beat by 20. It's just, they're different. I don't know if it's the coach comes in and gives the speech at home or what is happening there. They're a different animal at home. The whole team, the defense plays better. It's just
yeah.
If Buffalo was a better team, more consistent themselves, I'd say, yeah, okay.
Now, I've already written down stay away here.
This is two inconsistent teams.
Yeah. It's a stay away. I'm still leaning for Poole towards Buffalo.
And I will probably split this just for that extra half a point. If it was 3, I'd probably go Indy. But that extra half a point, I might just split it. And because they're so inconsistent.
Yeah, we're not quite sure what we're going to get out of them. I do know Buffalo's defense is bad. I think Indy's probably the better team, and they are at home, but I don't know that they're 3.5 points better.
No, they're basically saying they're even with a 3.5 point spread.
Well, supposedly, but...
Well, no, but they give the home team starts with -3 in every bet. So they're basically saying they're a half a point better than Buffalo.
Yeah.
So, and just they're so inconsistent.
Yeah. I mean, we can't even figure out exactly what we're doing on pool day, so we're not throwing extra money on the podcast at this matchup.
No.
Coming up next, Denver laying 11.5 going to KC.
I wouldn't mind betting this game.
Neither would I.
Fuck, ride the Romeo Crennel train till he quits paying us.
Yeah.
And they're starting Brady Quinn at quarterback in Kansas City again. The Denver pass rush is just nuts right now. You don't even care what's behind them at linebacker and corner and safety. Who cares? They're getting enough pass rush. You only have to cover them for a second and a half anyway. There's no way Kansas City's getting within 2 touchdowns in this game.
Well, and yeah, Denver has basically sealed the West, but now they're jockeying for seeding, and Peyton doesn't take these games off.
Nope.
You know, not until they've clinched number 1 do you really see him sort of mail it in. Now, in the past with Indy, who he could count on a little better, sometimes at this period of the year he'd win comfortably and fail to cover these big spreads. But I think he's still trying to prove something in Denver. I think he's more focused than he usually is at this time of the year. I like betting this one. It's definitely in the mix.
Yes.
I
would bet
traditionally
it right now.
don't like laying 11.5, but this is a strange case.
Kansas City's bad.
Yeah.
And with that quarterback, with Brady Quinn, I just don't see them competing at all.
I just have a
like
line.
Last week.
I think this was from like Fantasy Roundtable on Grantland, which is the amateur writers. And he said last week the only shocking thing in the Kansas City game would be when it was revealed that the laminated card Romeo Crennel holds is actually a menu from Denny's.
Well, did you see the Rob Ryan call sheet with Pat's Steakhouse on it? It's advertising. Not Rex, Rob.
Rob, yeah.
Yeah,
Ooh.
when they were in Philly, Pat's Steakhouse is hilarious.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so that one's definitely in the mix, and we'll probably pull the trigger on that. We both like that strongly.
Yes. Even at 11.5.
Yeah. The next game is off the board. Minnesota at Chicago.
And speaking of Minnesota, that was the team the Niners looked so terrible against before they played the Jets.
Right. Thank you. Don't know where my head's at tonight.
No, mine either. So, this one we can't really bet. Not that I would anyway. But Adrian Peterson looks like a beast. He's going to win. It's between him and Manning for Comeback Player of the Year. I'd probably give it to Peterson. It's more amazing what he's done, I think, coming back from a knee like that in 9 months.
But he didn't switch teams entirely. Either or, I'm not.
He's the only reason they're even talked about in a playoff spot.
Same thing with the Broncos.
They made the playoffs though without Manning last year. Kansas City,
in the strangest fluke of all time.
I don't care. Kansas City.
Honestly,
2 games.
either one of these guys wins it, I think they deserve it.
Yes. Peterson's a beast. I used to argue with when Chris Johnson was having good years that Peterson wasn't the best back in the league. He's by far the best back in the league. The last 10
Last of a breed, perhaps,
last 10 years, he's been the best back to come into football. He's an animal.
Yeah. And yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. But again, if it's Manning or Peterson, I don't care. They both deserve it.
And in the
Those
pool,
awards mean nothing to me.
no.
In the pool, which we're betting at 0 in our pool, I honestly favor Minnesota in this.
Yeah, I go Minnesota both ways. Jason Campbell looks awful. Chad Allen.
Well, they're saying Cutler might play, but I don't think it helps. That O-line
Allen
might as well not be there.
Allen could have 5.5 sacks, like Alden Smith did on Monday night.
Yeah.
So,
I like Minnie a lot there, too,
Yeah.
but we can't bet it, and we won't. Next up, we have the Carson Palmer Bowl. Oakland is plus 8.5?
6.5.
6.5, sorry. My print is
Well, no, that
tiny.
is 8.5.
Yeah, okay.
8.5.
Um,
I say stay away. If it was 6.5, I was going to say let's take Cincy. 8.5.
I'm still not entirely against taking Cincy in this game.
It's too much for inconsistent teams.
The Cincy has become a little more consistent, and Oakland has just fucking quit. They don't even try to tackle. Guys are pulling up 3 yards behind, just thinking. They're not thinking, oh, there's that chance I might be able to dive and get him. It's just like, I'd have to work way too hard to make that attempt.
Yeah, I just...
They are a completely dead and listless team. They're traveling. And...
You make... Oh, those are all compelling arguments. I just... 8.5 for Cincinnati is just too much to me. I know they could probably blow them out.
Well, we have a lot of games off the board, so I'm going to put it down as a tentative mix.
Okay. Yeah,
Because much like ride Romeo till he screws us, ride that Oakland losing streak too, until it screws us.
yeah, but they throw these games in when you least expect it. I was ready to write them off against when they went into Atlanta. They played a good game on the road. I was ready to write them off against Tampa, which we barely hang on to cover there.
That was a freaky game. But
I know, but they throw these games up when you least expect it, and Cincinnati's not a powerful enough team.
True. But we'll see how many games we've got at the end of this.
Yeah.
So I'm putting it down. It's definitely the weak member of our mixed team right now.
Yes, and maybe we just do 2 straight-up bets on Sunday.
That's a possibility, too.
With doing the tease on Thursday.
Because who knows what we'll find here.
Yeah, because the next one's closed, too.
Exactly. Pittsburgh at Cleveland. Looks like the return of Charlie Batch. Why they didn't put Charlie Batch in when Leftwich could barely draw air
Well, how bad
into
is
his
Batch?
chest. Yeah, but
He
has performed well when they've asked him to in the past.
That's my point. I would have put Batch in ahead of Leftwich. Like when they used to talk about Vince Young having a long throwing motion, Leftwich's arm goes back 4 yards.
Oh yeah,
Looks like Stretch Armstrong when he throws.
Looks like Tebow.
That arm slung back so far, it was crazy. And then he had that guy open in the middle against the Ravens, and he threw it 15 yards short.
Well, he just couldn't get it there because his ribs were broken. When the guy's ribs are broken, and it's obvious to everyone in the viewing audience, don't you give Batch a shot? Well, why are you giving him a check?
I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. Maybe it's affirmative action. I don't know. I couldn't figure.
Like, it makes no sense. And again, Charlie Bash has come in and had good games for the Steelers, and in every one, he's gotten injured, which ends his career or whatever, or his season in those games. But in those games where he stepped in for the Steelers, he's always performed well until injury. This makes no sense to me. Or watching that game made no sense to me, as it became increasingly obvious that Byron was severely hurt and it was affecting his play.
Well, it proved to me that Baltimore is a fraud at 8-2.
Yep.
They're like 9-1 Atlanta, saying they're the top team in the NFC. They're not. And Baltimore isn't one of the top teams in the AFC.
No, they've had incredible luck and incredible timing. And one really bogus call against Philly in week 2 that cost us money that I'm still bitter about.
Yeah, well, that would have made them 9-1.
Yeah, but
they're not. I don't know how they're doing it. Their defense is like back of the pack. Their quarterback is average or below average.
He's capable of torching terrible teams, and that's all I'll say for him.
But okay,
we'll talk more about that in Baltimore. I've been a big Cleveland follower, but Batch or whatever, I'm still taking Pittsburgh in this game both ways in the pool.
Yeah, me too.
And I like Cleveland, by the way.
I just
find some really questionable decisions in Rooney land there.
If you can stay within 3 points of Baltimore, who's supposedly one of the top teams in the AFC, you should be able to beat. I don't think they're going to blow Cleveland out. Probably be a 3 or 4 point game, but I think it's Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Next up, Seattle is laying 3 going to Miami. This is absolute stay away for me.
Yes. I can't pick Seattle or Miami this year.
Seattle on the road. I'm picking the teams right, but
Seattle on the road's 1-4. They're a totally different team. If we talked about Indy being a totally different team on the road, this is probably
Seattle's
biggest
5-0
disparity of road and home performance. Especially Russell Wilson is awful on the road. His best game on the road was Detroit.
Right.
They lost. So
this is a stay away. My personal opinion is Tannehill is more of a classic rookie, and now they have enough tape on him, and they've been shutting him down for weeks.
Yeah. So I'm thinking Seattle both ways here.
Me too, but I'm sure as hell not comfortable with that.
But Seattle's defense should win that game for them.
I think so too, particularly the pass rush. And plus, I get the feeling Miami is starting to get confused and question themselves, whereas Seattle, even in losses, seems like they're a team to me. I know that's a completely nebulous and fuzzy assessment of them, but
well, here's my question with Miami and Philbin as coach. Does nobody realize in the NFL that when you used to have a running back that was explosive and could be a game changer for you, you had to give him the ball 20 times for him to get that one where he could break one for 30 or 40 yards?
Yeah.
They put Reggie Bush out there. If they hand the ball to him 5 times and he's not averaging 8 yards a carry, they bench him.
Yeah. That's a really good point, but I mean, he came from Green Bay, and that's been their philosophy for, 15 years.
See, now, is it the coaches that fall in love with the quarterbacks with the arms and want to make the quarterbacks stars so they look brilliant? Because when you hand the ball off, there's nothing to do with coaching. Maybe I had it wrong. Maybe it's the coaches want the quarterbacks to look good so they get the praise.
That's a very interesting theory.
Because you have Reggie Bush. He wasn't that final drive in Buffalo. He came running on the field He wasn't even on the field to start that drive. He's the most explosive player you have on offense, and he's not on the field. I don't get it.
No, I don't either. And I'm just thinking back to my joyous years with Tomlinson. I saw so many games where he would have 15 carries for 40 yards. And boom, the next 8 carries went for 80 and 2 TDs.
Yeah, it's not every running play is going to be 10 yards.
Well, no, and I think that could be part of it too, because you look at the computer stats, the average gain per pass play, a good team is 8 or 10 or whatever the number is, and you're never going to achieve that. So when you do a computer analysis, it looks like it makes much more sense to pass all the time.
Yeah, except it's not working.
No, and I'm kind of glad that we're not going to see any 5,000-yard passers, and that things are starting to correct a little back.
Well, what I like is Houston's the best team in the AFC, and they run more than they pass, or it's very close to 50-50. That's how you win. When they go into bad weather in Chicago, why did they win that game? Because they could run the ball.
Yeah.
Didn't matter that Chicago had a great defense and were ready to stop the run. Houston stopped the run and could run the ball enough to win. And that's what you need. When they play in the Dome, because they're going to have home field throughout unless New England passes them.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't matter as much. But if you have to go on the road in bad weather, you need to run the ball.
Well, yeah, why not have a couple of different ways to win a game instead of putting all of it into a single basket? I mean, that's why the run and shoot died back in the day.
Well, and Marlon, like I was saying with the play action pass, they always run that one play and go deep. It takes these teams with great pass rushes out, slows the pass rush down. Isn't that what everybody's trying to do?
Yes.
If you want to beat San Francisco, who are the teams that the Giants beat them by running the ball down their throat this year? The Bears got behind too far where they couldn't really run the ball anymore, and they got destroyed. You need to be balanced. I know everybody likes the offensive fireworks, but the teams that win run the ball effectively.
Yeah, and again, just the whole... There is nothing that has proven this wrong. You run the ball, you bring the safeties in closer, and you play action them to death.
And there's nothing wrong with passing the ball early to set up the run. But
exactly. No, and that might be part of the strategy. I mean,
you don't have to be the old mentality is what I'm saying, where it was used to be pound the ball to set up the play action and go deep. Teams now why we're seeing comebacks so much is nobody can run the frickin' ball when they have a lead.
That's true. Nobody can close.
No, that's New England. With the games they lose late, can't close, can't get a first down. Run the fucking ball, boys. Run the ball in the fourth quarter when you're up 6 or up 4 with 4 minutes left. They can't.
Well, and I've seen so many times when even if you don't get a first down, you can eat a full minute off a 3-minute clock. If you run, even if you don't get a first down and punt, that's fine. The minute's more important than your fucking yards.
And
think about it, people.
And you force teams to take timeouts. You're not stopping the clock for them.
Yeah.
It's gone. And now that I brought it up, I'm convinced it's coaches want the praise.
Yeah. And that makes more sense, too.
The coach gets the praise if you run in a pass like McCarthy in Green Bay. They haven't had a running back since he's been there.
Peyton, formerly New Orleans.
Yeah.
Formerly in New Orleans.
Who's the coaching geniuses? Shanahan. Well, Shanahan always ran the ball, but he was considered a coaching genius for the way he ran the ball. One of the rare ones. But all these look at Andy Reid. He's going to get fired. You have a Pro Bowl running back, and you throw the ball 48 times with a rookie quarterback. When in the fuck did we ever see that before?
And do we ever want to see it again?
And it was more like what RG3 did on Sunday, 14 of 15.
Yep.
You don't need to chuck it 50 times to win.
No, I remember one time when Bledsoe threw it 52, and I thought, fuck. You throw it 52, you're usually going to lose the game.
That means you're behind big.
Yep.
That's the norm now, though.
Yep.
48, 52, 54.
69, I think we saw recently.
Well, look at what the Niners are doing. Just look what they did to the Bears. Pass, throw, mix. The Bears didn't have a clue what was coming. And it's not like Gore's the fastest back in the league, but he was gashing them for 10, 12 at a time.
Oh, even, Kendall Hunter, who I like quite a bit. You know, they'd put him in his change of pace. The Bears would drop into a pass coverage because they figured, it's not Gore. And he'd rip him for 9-11 on the outside.
Yeah. So that's my rant for this week. Run the fucking ball, win some games.
Yeah.
Seattle's winning games running the ball with Marshawn Lynch.
Yep.
So, Seattle in the pool for me.
I agree. Not comfortable with it enough to bet. Next game we can't bet anyway. Tennessee minus 3.5 at Jacksonville.
And I wish Blaine Gabbert was still the fucking quarterback in Jacksonville.
It does throw a bit of a wild card into the mix, doesn't it?
Well, when Henny throws 4 TDs, yeah.
Henny was pretty good in Miami. People
I
seem
liked him
to
in
fucking
Miami.
forget it. They would have beaten the Chargers a couple of years ago when they came to it, when the Wildcat was still in vogue. And Henny was running it, except the Chargers managed to injure him. This was before they changed the quarterback injury rules. So they had to stick with their emergency quarterback. It was confusing, but Henny isn't bad.
I always liked him, but he never got a fair shake in Miami. They expected him to be Marino his first year. And he wasn't. He's better than Gabbert, and it scares me.
He's far better than Gabbert.
This line's probably a little too high with as inconsistent as Tennessee is, but Tennessee's coming off the bye.
Jacksonville.
Pool-wise, I'm going Tennessee.
I think I am too, just because Jacksonville threw everything out there last week and lost. And I think that was their last big gasp. That this team is just kind of shambling around like zombies this week.
But Tennessee's pass defense has been off. They're like one of the worst defenses in the league. They can make anybody look good. And Justin Blackmon torched Houston last week.
Yeah.
200 yards receiving. He had a great week. So
I'm leaning towards Tennessee as well, but yeah, if it was Gabbert, I'd be all over Tennessee.
Yeah.
Next game, we can't bet either. Baltimore at San Diego. Go, Baltimore. They are laying 1.5, and it should be about 6.
Man, how... Well, this is based on last year's game. Somewhat. It has to be.
Well, playing physical after the Steelers, I mean, we haven't really looked at this year, and we probably should. There are certain teams that the week after you play them, you never perform well, just because those teams are so physical and they have battered you and beaten you up and pounded on you for 3.5 hours the previous week. But
did Baltimore really get pounded last week?
I don't think so.
That game, we never really talked about that, but that was like watching a Thursday night game, people.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't great defense. It was shitty football.
I don't disagree one bit.
This wasn't like the old Steelers-Ravens games where it was like...
Yeah, the score was similar. All the statistical numbers were similar, but you're right, it wasn't.
It wasn't the same. I know we bet these games, these guys, differently in years past based on their performance on other teams after they played Baltimore or the Steelers because of how physical it was.
Well, when the Titans had their huge run too, every team that played the Titans stunk the next week because the Titans mauled them physically.
Yeah.
And I haven't identified a team yet this year that really just beats the holy crap. Maybe the Niners did. Maybe that's why the Jets were able to have their way with the Rams.
That could be.
I mean, it's something that has worked for us in the past, and we maybe have to pay a little attention.
Well, they're the most physical defense in football right now.
Oh, easily. They're the most
Bears
physical.
get a lot of turnovers. I don't think they hit as hard as San Francisco.
No, they don't, particularly because they're a little slow on the inside now, so they tackle really well, but they tackle with technique and form. They don't crush you in the middle of the field like the Niners do.
That Niners team's scary, man, when that defense is going. Oh.
All they need is 10 points, man, and I just don't see them giving it up.
Well, we'll see this week.
But in this game, it's like...
I go
There's
Baltimore,
time zone, and this feels like a Rasmussen game for Norv Turner, where he can dance around like he won the Super Bowl because he won a game.
Well, this will be the kitchen sink game for them. You'll see trick plays, fake punts, reverses on punt returns, all that. They're going to throw everything they have. They have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
This is the kitchen sink game for him.
Yeah, and if I see him smiling and dancing like he did at the end of beating Casey on Thursday night...
Hey, it still
like,
feels good when
what
your
an
team
important
wins.
victory. Jesus Christ. I have nothing personally against Norv Turner, but I really felt like just going there and slapping him silly.
I think I'm going Baltimore in this. It's not going to be pretty. It won't be entertaining. And Phillip will probably throw a back-breaking interception somewhere along the line.
Oh, and fumble twice. He is the turnover factory. I'm going to have to look at any segment of games over 2 seasons, and I bet you I will have a lot of trouble finding a quarterback responsible for more turnovers than Rivers over the last 2 years.
No, you're not wrong, and they've been, some of them have just been boneheaded.
Well, that Tampa Bay one was just still mind-blowing.
Well, the Kansas City one, too, at the half.
Mm-hmm. Very similar play, too. So when he says in the Tampa Bay game that the ball got stuck in his hand, and I'm thinking, what? Unless you're using fucking Stickum, asshole. How does that happen?
Well, they were accused of using it in the
I
Denver
know.
game.
So when the towels come out, it's not for the receivers.
It's for Phillip.
Yeah. But again, and people were going, oh yeah, well, that must be it, because what else could happen? Have you ever heard a quarterback say the ball got stuck in his hand?
No. And all he had to do there was
and
either run straight out of bounds.
Oh, I know. He hasn't even been ripped for that properly.
Just run straight out of bounds or throw it away.
I hate to say it, and this is my prediction. Andy Reid's going to end up in San Diego. And you know what? I'm not against it. If anyone can fix Rivers, it's Reid.
Yeah, but he's not.
And we're not really doing any worse with coaching decisions than we have with Norv.
Yeah, but do you want Phillip Rivers throwing the ball 50 times a game? Because that's what you're getting with Andy Reid.
Well, when Ryan Matthews is my back, maybe I do.
Yeah, but they don't. Who do they have as a running back that can catch a screen pass?
Battle is not terrible at it, but
Andy Reid's a screen pass and slant.
As my plug, 15% off San Diego's gear on Black Thursday. Woohoo! The markup is now only 80%. Your last chance to buy San Diego Chargers gear before the move to LA.
No, they're not moving. There's nobody going to LA.
Next game is also off the board, which surprises me a little.
Well, that's just because they don't know who
at
the quarterback is
here.
for sure.
Yeah.
If Harbaugh comes out and says Kaepernick's starting tomorrow, there'll be a line on this game. I'm taking San Francisco. New Orleans, yeah, they're on a hot streak. Biggest win, I would say, on that streak, Tampa? Or Atlanta. But they're still giving up 30 a game. I don't think they score 30 on San Francisco. I know they did last year.
Who knows? I mean, even if we had a line, I don't think I'd want to bet it.
No, I wouldn't want to bet it either, but pool-wise, I'm going San Francisco both ways.
I probably am, not certain.
So that means Marlon will do the P split. And you podcast listeners
not
out there
at 0-0. I really can't do that.
Yeah, you can.
I suppose I theoretically could grab my point, but no.
You get one. You guaranteed one. That's the ultimate in P splits.
It would be. It would be sort of a defining moment in the P split.
And look
concept.
At me busting your balls, and you're leading the pool, and I'm fucking 14 back. So what am I? 12 back. What am I talking about? Keep P split, and it's working for you.
Well, I cash both ends sometimes. It's been that kind of year.
No, I know.
But yeah, no, the P split concept. This could be a defining moment. I should almost do it on principle.
Yeah, if you had any, you could. Oh, I had to get a shot in here or there.
All right, our next game are Rams plus 2.5 at Zona. I like this one.
For who? Who do you want?
I want the Rams.
No. This. Say no.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, what
I don't care that Arizona's
like
starting a rookie quarterback and all the other crap that goes with it. St. Louis is an awful team. I don't want to bet on awful teams to win. I would rather take that other game
But we're taking them as a dog. We could hit this on the money line.
Yeah, I would rather take
$2.15.
Cincinnati at 8.5 than St. Louis at 2.5. St. Louis is an awful team.
They've got a legitimate running back core between Richardson and Daryl Richardson, not Trent, and Jackson. Their quarterback is far better. Arizona has no fucking O-line.
They didn't have that in Atlanta either. 5 turnovers. Their defense is good enough. Matt Ryan versus Sam Bradford. Who's better? Ryan. Picked him off 5 times. On the road. You could have a kick. Peterson could return a punt for a touchdown in this game.
That's a good point, and
I don't.
It used to be Zona in the desert was solid, but they're just reeling and falling apart.
Well, so are the Rams. The Jets beat them at home.
And they beat the Niners in San Francisco 2 weeks ago.
Who?
Which game was the aberration?
No, it was a tie.
Oh, wow. Okay, I consider that a win. But
I don't want to bet crap teams. I would rather take Cincinnati against Oakland when you have an average team against a crap team than betting on 2 crap teams. You might as well bet Seattle against Miami.
Now that's a good point.
Like, that's what I'm looking at.
No, that's a good point. That's your best argument. It's inconsistent, betting shit against shit. It could go either way. No, you're correct.
Stupid things happen.
You're correct. You're correct. You've swayed me with that.
I would rather tease Green Bay to 8.5.
And I think it's clear I'm taking the Rams both ways. Pool-wise,
I am too. I just don't want to bet any money on it.
Hey, you made your point, and you made it concisely and correctly. The next game, Green Bay plus 2.5 at the Giants. Fuck them both. I can't pick them.
Here, I wouldn't mind going money line on this game for Green Bay.
Giants are coming off a bye.
Yeah.
And
Eli
now,
hasn't thrown a touchdown
if
pass
they're
in
going
3
to believe
weeks.
their own press that we just have to turn it on when we have to, now's the time.
No, but you're the one that told me they either have good first halves and bad second halves, or bad first halves and good second halves. They were 6-2 in the first half this year. They're not making the playoffs, dude. You look at their schedule.
No, they're going to win the division still.
They're not making the playoffs. Look at their schedule. It's brutal. They have Green Bay this week. Washington, December 3rd.
Could Washington win the East?
New Orleans
Holy fuck.
on the
Can't believe I just
6th, or
said
on the 9th. Oh, where's the next game? Why can't I see it?
I mean, there are technical difficulties, sound music.
You like that?
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking we should.
Oh, at Atlanta the next week? Why am I having such... Then they go to Baltimore?
Who are frauds?
They're still the Giants aren't lighting anybody up. And their last game's against Philly. They could be 8-8. Out of all those games, if you give them a split, they're 9-7.
Yeah, I mean, Green Bay didn't impress. Okay, we'll throw that in the mix here.
Not a lot out there.
Yeah, and the final game is Carolina at Philly, which is also closed, and we can't really figure out why.
And please, everybody, turn this game off.
Yeah, as a protest.
It's garbage. Garbage football on Monday night.
Yeah, it's going to look like a Thursday night.
Yep. Turn it off.
I'm probably taking Carolina.
Yes. Oh, yes. Just based on Cam. I'm just basing it on Cam Newton.
Yeah.
A little bit of hope. You want to talk about a team that's quit? Philly. Carolina.
Yeah,
still.
though I do think the Raiders have really quit as well. And don't give me Carson Palmer pride.
No.
I mean, they're saying he's going to get booed in Cincy. They should be cheering him. How many draft picks did they get for that washed-up sack of shit?
Yeah.
Like, they should just be thanking him.
Yeah, they got
for
a first
choosing to take
round.
his talents to the North Bay.
Terrible.
They really should be cheering him. All right. Those are the games. We have already booked a 3-team teaser. We are going to book Denver laying 11.5.
Yeah.
It's a big number, but yeah, as you said, let's ride Romeo till it doesn't pay.
Yeah, that $10 bet pays $19.09. And just for the record, I want to say we picked 4 out of 5 games right last week and our bets, even though we only won 2 bets.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 games right. That's 80%.
We swept the week before, and we took 2 out of 3 bets the week before. We're starting to ride a little here.
Well, we're 5.
Let's not get cocky, but...
No. But out of the weeks, we've had 5 winning weeks and 6 losing weeks. And the losses weren't always huge. Like $2, $3. So which meant we won games that week, but didn't get to the break-even point or above to call it a winning week.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we have Denver, Kansas City. We had Oakland, Cincinnati in the mix. And, wow, there's not much else there. Green Bay.
Yeah.
Well, how about this? Would you do this? Would you want to tease Cincinnati and Green Bay? We get Cincy down to -2.5 and Green Bay at +8.5. Do you think the Giants are going to blow them out?
Why not?
I'd like.
No, a two-team teaser like that is not bad, and I'm not seeing much on this board that I'm in love with.
No, like my only other thing would be between the two, if you only wanted to bet one, I would want Green Bay on the money line.
Yeah, I would do that too, but I'm still nervous about, does the switch come on for the Giants after the bye week? So I honestly would prefer to tease this.
Okay. So we have Cincinnati -8.5. And we have Green Bay +2.5. And we're going to tease that 6 points. So we've teased Cincinnati down to a favorite -2.5. And we have Green Bay teased from +2.5 to +8.5. And one other thing for pool players, since week 2, the home team is 45-81 against the number.
And if you remove Seattle, 40-81.
36-81.
No, you're double changing that.
No, they're 5-0 at home.
Yeah, so if it's 45, you only subtract 5, not 10.
No, 41. It was 41. Oh, yeah, 45-81. Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad. So, we're a two-team tease. $10 bet pays. Wow. That's not even worth the risk, dude.
16?
18.33.
Book it anyway. I don't find anything I like.
Okay. $10 bet pays 18.33. Yeah, we can't go on what it pays. We have to go on what.
Yeah, that's only 17 points of VIG, functionally.
Yeah. All right. I think we're done.
Yeah.
So, I just want to thank everybody for listening. We're getting views on YouTube. We're getting people listening on the website, downloading on iTunes. So, it's nice to see that it's getting out there a little more. So, thanks to everybody for listening. And again, where you can check out our podcast on iTunes, just search Offensive Lines. You can listen to it on our website, offensivelines.ca. Check out our YouTube channel. It's Offensive Lines. You can listen to it there. Eventually, I hope to get it where we have video clips running, or it changes by topic, pictures or video of some kind. I'm just getting used to running and uploading videos to YouTube, so give me a little time. You can follow us on Twitter at Offensive Lines. We'll give you updates on when new posts go up on the website and when the podcast is available. Like now, it's perfect for that. Follow us on Twitter when we're doing it a day early. You'll get notified. You can check us out, facebook.com/offensivelines. And if you want to drop us a line, you can email us at offensivelines@shaw.ca. That's way too much fucking information at the end of a podcast for me to say.
We got to record it as a clip. Just insert it.
Yeah, there you go. All right, I'm Boyd.
I'm Marlon. And that was week 12. Enjoy your turkey, Yankees.
Gobble, gobble.